I know. Oh, there we go. Okay. 3B. Ocean Vuong's On Earth We're Briefly Gorgeous is written in the form of a letter to whom? So obviously, if you haven't read the book, his absent father, his deceased partner, his younger self, or his mother's. I've been wanting to read this book for like a long time, but I have not yet.
I literally just finished reading this last night. So I was like, oh my God, I finally know the
Okay.
answer.
Did you like it, Christine?
It's really, I mean, it has like no plot, but it's really beautiful and it makes total sense that he's like a poet because it's like
Yeah.
probably one of the most lyrical novels I've ever read. So
Yeah.
it's really nice.
Yeah. That was what people were telling me. It's very lyrical. The answer is his mother. And let's do one more. Which novel by Jeanette Winterson blends magical realism with a semi-autobiographical narrative about growing up in a strict religious household and discovering her sexuality? Oh, and Chris has put something in the chat. It's a video, I'm assuming, about Ocean Vuong. Yeah, that's exciting. Got some uncertainty on this one. I have some Jeanette Winterson fans in the room. We have 76% participation. Anyone else want to take a stab at it? It is oranges are the only fruit, or not the only fruit. Yes. Yes, good job. As a group, we got all of them.
Okay, thanks, Gail. Next up, we have Julie Brandon, who will read her story, The Shortcut.
Henry's usual path to school took him past the viaduct on Western Avenue. On Tuesday, as he approached, he noticed some older kids hanging around. These same kids made fun of him at school, teasing him about his glasses and that he rode a girl's bike. Henry had a busy day of him, so instead of riding past them with their taunts ringing in his ears, he took a shortcut. As Henry walked his bike on the bumpy path, the sound of beautiful a cappella singing swept over him. Who knew those tough boys could sing? That was my drabble, thank you. Drabbles are a really wonderful challenge to write because you have to get an idea right there. But I do tend to I write flash fiction and very short plays, so my longest play is 10 minutes. And I enjoy it so much because you have just a moment, basically, to get an entire idea out. And I loved it. I didn't get to say also, I loved the picture. It brought this to me right away that there's a story there, and I knew what it was. So thank you.
Thanks, Julie. I'm in awe of how much you can do with so few words because that's not easy to do. I know that as a writer of very long stories. But you created a real moment of real life magic there that I really loved. So thank you. And so I think that's all of our readings, and we still have a few minutes left, thanks to everyone doing such a wonderful job of being on time. So we can open things up for questions if anyone has any questions or comments or anything they'd like to share with us.
Well, I would like to make a comment, being in the sort of the unique position of having all of you people write stories based on my pictures. It was great reading them. I mean, it's just the most fun. And Heather, your story being the longest and the last, I still have another 3 or 4 pages left to read. But they were all just, I mean, I was so impressed. I through this whole process with the last issue and this issue, and I was trying to finish this book that I'm doing. I never had time to read any of these stories, so I didn't really know whether they were any good or not. But it turns out you guys are all just fantastic. Anyway, so I just couldn't have been more thrilled with the whole deal. It was just a lovely experience.
David, I'm curious about your experience reading and seeing the images. Was there a range of experience in terms of like where did they come up with that story for this picture and others where you really saw it?
Wait, sorry, say that again. I got
I'm
distracted.
curious.
Okay.
I'm curious about your reading experience based on the pictures. Like, did you have a mix of experiences around like where did they come up with that story for this picture and others where it was clearer to you? Or I'm just curious.
Well, there was a wide variety of sort of reactions. Like the two spoons. Who wrote the two spoons?
Layla Allison.
Leela. That I reading her story, I could not think of a better illustration for that story than my painting, even though where she came up with all that, I assume she had it from somewhere else, but it was I mean it was just fantastic. And of course then the spiders in the jars, which evidently sort of um, was intriguing to the most number of people. I mean, obviously you couldn't pick the other paintings if someone had already picked them. So, but the fact that there were, I don't know how many there were for the spiders was so delightful, and every one was just entirely a different take on it. So, anyway, um, was that the answer to that question, Chris?
I have a comment. I just want to express my personal thanks to all of the guest writers because you guys were awesome. Your stories are awesome. Your participation was awesome. I just want to make sure that that gets said again. I know we said it, but I'm just so impressed and lucky to be able to be a part of this. So
I have a oh, go ahead, please.
I'm sorry,
Go
quick
ahead.
comment. As someone who, you submit your work, it goes into the big void out there, and you may get a generic no thank you or yes thank you, and then they move on. This is such a wonderful experience to have, and the whole experience. We talk, communicating with Gail and with Marco, editing. I'm like, how do you edit a 100-word story? Well, you do, and it makes it better. But it's just, it's such a. This is so much. This is very warm. This is very human. And it takes us from where we sit in our own space of writing. I think this is my experience. I'm speaking for you like you asked me to. But it takes me from my own experience of writing, in a room to connecting with people. And it's wonderful. And I've enjoyed this more. And I've been published other places, but this has probably been the most enjoyment of the human touch. And I wanted to say thank you to all of you who are involved in it.
Well put, Julie.
I'd like to ask you a question. Obviously, building community and having community is important for any publication to succeed. And I know you have you've shared the mission, but I'm wondering, it feels like the sense of community that drives this experience is part of the nucleus of this. It's built into its DNA. Would anyone, of the editors or Gail, would you like to give any insight into what your vision is, where community is a part of the driving force of I mean, I suppose a literary publication of any type is essential, in its definition, in a way, a community of writing, but this feels different to me. It feels like it is community driven. And do you have any thoughts on that as to how this is shaping into what you've envisioned?
I can jump in. I mean, I think it's it's a funny thing to say, well, this is because of this. So I don't know what's landing, but I can talk about what's important to me. And one of the things that's super important to me is the quality of my relationships with every single person that I'm interacting with, and that I'm responding to a human being. I'm not responding to a story. Yes, the story is an expression of the human being, but how I craft an email that's going out to my guest writers is as important to me as what I put in my stories. and how I treat someone who's upset about something is extremely important. Or I can talk. I had a thing with Ken this morning, and I realized that I accidentally left him off the mailing list for this issue, so he hasn't been receiving the emails, and it was sort of like crushing. I'm like, okay, so what system can I put? I know it's not such a big deal, but from where I sit, that's not how I want to be. So I'm like, okay, so next time when I create my list, I want someone to check that. I want to have another set of eyes over that so it doesn't happen again. And I'm not giving that example as like, oh yay me, but just in terms of the decision making that happens has a carefulness in terms of how the people who are writing for us, as well as the people who are reading for us, are going to experience us. I want the experience to be one of warmth and inclusion and people being seen and people being responded to. It's just, we don't get that very much out in the world right now. So that's where I work from. So I can't talk from anybody else, but I saw Mary Lynn's hand up.
Yeah, I just wanted to also include that I've been published in a lot of journals, and this is the first group that I have been with where it's like we're all seeing each other. And usually I send a story out, and if it's accepted, that's the end of it. And then I get an email 6 months later, here it is, and I can click on that. But I think the difference in building this community is that we include guest writers to join our bi-weekly meetings for a few minutes so they can see us. And then we also have this launch, which I've never experienced with any other publication. So it's just so enjoyable to see each one of you and connect you with your piece you wrote, because it makes it so much more real. So I don't know if that answers your question, Mark, too, but that's I think that's one of the most important parts about what we're doing. And it's just so different.
Thanks, Mary Lynn. I notice we're about 90 seconds away from not meeting our commitment to end on time. So before we go, though, I wanted to do a little sneak peek preview and hopefully get some of you excited about writing for our next issue. Our next issue is special because all the art used will be for prompts is by Lorraine Roy, who's a fiber artist based in Ontario. Like for the last issue, we'll be inviting submissions for Flash fiction and pieces in response to, submissions for Flash and Drabbles for 2 images, and you can use either format for either image. The Flash is 750 words or fewer, Drabbles 100-word story. And let me pop up this. Let me share my screen briefly so that you can all see these. And so the image on the left is Leap of Faith, and the image on the right is In the Garden 2. And again, this is all fiber, which I just think is extraordinary. So that's a quick sneak peek. I've already put the link in for submission, or no, I haven't. I'm about to put the link in the
I think
chat
that
for
the
submission.
website is up, and we'll be promoting the website as with its own posts. So you'll see that on your feeds. And if you haven't gotten us your social feeds and you want us to be tagging you, feel free to just send those to the Hotch Potch mailbox.
And the submissions will be going out on social media as well. I guarantee it.
Wonderful. So I just wanted to thank everyone again. Please spread the word. If you want to make a favorite sentence video about somebody's piece, that would be great. Keep an eye out for Volume 4, Issue 2, which will be coming in October. We're changing, our cycle is now spring and fall. We're very, very grateful you came, and we wish you a wonderful Saturday evening. Take care, everyone.
Goodbye, guys.